What's going on, guys? Today is Friday, February 6th, 2026, and the market is open. It is the morning session. I'm continuing along in this series in which we're going to take a look at the updates of all the swing trades from Monday morning. If you're new to this YouTube channel, so far for this year, I've been establishing key levels based on the gamma exposure from Quant Trading app, and then sharing my thoughts in a video at the start of the week, as well as some trade ideas. This is before price action happens. This is before anyone knows what's going to happen. This week's theme or main subject I want to point out is the hedging ideas that was addressed in Monday's video. Yesterday, I was able to come on and actually record a video going into detail for all of the hedging positions that we swung this week. I'm not going to go into as much detail in this video as this will be a quicker one. Our main trade was our iron condor. Again, it is now Friday. Let's actually just refresh this here so you guys can see. This is the update. Since I had this page loaded, I guess this must have been about 5 minutes or so. The market's moved, so we had a little bit of a pullback here, and that's going to affect the live prices. But for the most part, this is up to date. This was our main position here, the iron condor for the week. This was our main hedge right here. So we have a solid win, a solid win. It's not common that you have a win on your hedge within the same week in which you win on your iron condor. And then lastly, our positions for the following week are also doing well. So this was, I would say, the accounts builder. This is our main 2-week swing right here. Also a win. And then this is just a little extra sauce that I say is the position that I actually took. This is not the position that I took because there was a clutter of expirations and I went with the merged cow fly. In hindsight, it would have been nice to just go with the iron butterfly, but you never know. This was just to demonstrate an experiment to you guys to see what happens if you take a position from the previous week and you swing it into this week. So in other words, when this position was opened, it was an about 11 DT if I remember so, and now today it is a 0 DT. So that's like the equivalent of if we were to hold this into next week Friday, which is not suggested. I figured we just leave it running so you guys can see what happens if you hold into expiration. All in all, it was a good week. The thing I want to point out is this is a week where so much went wrong, and still we can walk out profitable following our plan from the start of the week. And the plan was relatively simple. These are the gamma exposure levels with some of my notes, and I highly encourage you guys go back and watch the video released on Monday as well as the video that was released on Thursday of this week, because there is a lot to take away. If you can navigate these types of volatile and crazy waters, then when the ocean is calm, it's relatively easy to sail. And that is one of the things that can make you a better trader. An important thing that we learned this week, not only on the concept of the principles of hedging and why to hedge and how to structure our hedge, but it is also that even during a volatile week, we can remain calm because for the most part, our plan is solid. This is a week in which we should not have made money. These positions should not have worked out as well as they did, but as we can see, they are doing well. This is the current place of the markets. This is expiring today. However, the position is still green. There is room to make a lot more, but this position should have actually been closed Wednesday, which was addressed in the video that was released on Thursday, covering why this is essentially generally going to be your profit targets and why you want to make adjustments or tweaks to the portfolio generally around Wednesday. Thursdays tend to be very volatile, and then Fridays is almost a coin toss. You never know what's going to happen, especially in a week like this where we had some major earnings and major catalysts. So profit target was essentially hit. This is just a novelty at this point for me to showcase to you guys the P&L at the end of the week also. And I won't be at my desk for Power Hour today, so I won't actually have the closing price for these positions. And by the time I get to check in tomorrow, I don't know if Option Strat will have the accurate P&L, but we'll take a look at this. I'm going to be curious over the weekend myself to see what essentially happens here. The other iron condors, the ones that are a little bit more narrow, a little bit more experimental, this one's not doing too well. This was accounting for this range here, whereas the main iron condor was accounting for this, which is the actual expected placement. We would think that the SPY would have spent at least 3 days within. This is if you're trying to squeeze as much P&L, but now you guys can see sometimes it's not worth it when you don't have an extreme edge. Last week we had a decent edge, but as I addressed in yesterday's video, you can't expect the market to stay exactly around the same points when the previous week it already had such a small net change. And then the previous week it already spent a lot of time around a key strike. This is too long of a consolidation around a certain point. The market can only absorb but so much catalyst. We had FOMC, we had Microsoft earnings, Apple earnings, Tesla's earnings, Microsoft earnings, Amazon's earnings, Google's earnings, all of these earnings stacked in such a short time frame. It's only but so much the market can absorb before it makes a large move in a particular direction. 680 was our key strike we need to hedge. We saw it in the gamma exposure. The expectation is the market is going to close at the end of the week above 680. It is not a surprise, guys, what's going on here. Anything below 680 is essentially going to be a decent bargain, especially if you're taking an asymmetrical trade where you're just looking at out the money positions. As I mentioned yesterday, I mentioned even considering something like 693. The expectation is that we're not going all the way back up to 693, but if the market goes from anywhere here to this direction, you can profit, and obviously you take profit at 685. This is the place to take profit now for any swing trades. And obviously you guys are seeing this, and by the time you're seeing this, the market would have already moved from here, but this is the information you take forward the next time, because I'm not predicting the future. I don't know what's going to happen the next time, but it's going to repeat itself. There's a reason why on a Monday, I can share my commentary and notes and provide scenarios on what's likely to happen, and then we see them play out. So even at this point now, it's going to be hard for the markets, or it should be hard for the markets to now get back within this trend here, because now it's going to deal with a confluence of resistance. We have the 50-day moving average, the market is below it, and we have this trend line. This is the retest of it. If the markets cannot get back into this trend here, then the expectation will be the next leg down. Let's take a look at our futures. This is our value area low. The markets was now able to get back above this here. This was a key level. Again, these levels were shared on Monday, and we are able to use it later on in the week to decide how the market is trading. We had a pierce of this demand zone, so that was something that showed the weakness. It's not very strong. We want to keep that in mind. If the market gets up here and it cannot reclaim above this zone here, all these high volume nodes, the expectation is that there is supply here. It is not a surprise that the market is rejecting at this level. If it cannot get above this and hold above this, the expectation for traders is that we're probably going to make another leg down, or at least consolidate in this area. Early next week on Monday, when we do our analysis, for me, it might likely be on Tuesday, we will have some new information and we can come up with a good theory as to what's going to happen. The implied volatility using the VIX as a proxy for the market has decreased. It is still holding above the quant trading apps 2 sigma level though, so this is concern. It's not until it gets back below here do we really want to say the pressure is off for the market. Those of you in quant trading app, this is our 2 sigma level. It is not surprising. This is where the market has returned to. This is the expectation. 685 we already addressed at the start of the week is a key level. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen around here. At this point, there's not a clear setup for a day trade. You know, there is a pattern unfolding here, and maybe we get some sort of a little micro bull flag break, a retest of the high of day. But these videos are macro videos. They're not on these 0 DTE trades, because by the time you guys see these videos, the 0 DTE information is irrelevant. Now let's get back to some of the other positions as we close out the iron condors. Let's take a look at what else do we have here. Our hedges, I guess if we want to just plop those up. This was the hedge that I said you guys want to keep in mind in the future if you want to protect your portfolio without using too much capital. You get a few lots of these, 3, 4, 5, keep it around $200, $250. Essentially, your portfolio will tell you how much insurance or protection you need. So if you have a position that stands to be down 2K, you want enough protection that can maybe cover at least 1K of that if the market was to be down to a key level such as 680. That's the math you use. It's simple. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you will actually cover the loss overall. So if you're down 2K, you might actually be up 2K on your hedge. It depends on what happens with implied volatility and depends how you structure your portfolio. But for the most part, this was a simple hedge. Sometimes it's not even a hedge and it's actually just a decent trade when we see a gamma profile that looked like the way this one did, with as much catalyst on the horizon and also with how compressed the market was last week. This could have just been a solid trade and not a hedge. This was the hedge that I mentioned for people with larger portfolios or people that need major protection and you don't want to limit how much profit you can make to the downside. See, this one, if the market was to completely crash and be down 5% or so, you're going to not really have a major win from this, whereas this one would be a major win. The position was up, I think it was 1,500 or 1,400 at its peak at one point, but the P&L for this trade from since its inception and open has performed well. It was open on February 2nd, which was right around here, February 2nd in the morning. And then you guys can see it's essentially been up the whole time. At one point yesterday morning, it was up really nicely. Same thing with these hedges. Look at how they performed. They all performed really nicely. There were no drag on the portfolio. Same thing with this one, did really well. This was my favorite hedge. I like to use the SPX, go with the following week as opposed to the SPY. If I'm using the SPY, I'm going to use the same week, but sometimes I have to use the SPY because I'm using SPX expirations and I don't want to clutter my risk profile. So it's nice to be able to use the SPY, the SPX, and sometimes even ES options to hedge the overall portfolio. But this also did really well. Again, for the most part, you should be out of these trades anyway. It's just fun, I think, to see what happens if you hold them all the way until expiration. Merge Cow Fly doing pretty well. This was just a trade that I didn't need to cover in everyone as this. I was long out of this trade. This is just a trade in which I'm going to hold generally for like a 1 DTE or so. So I was actually out of this trade by Tuesday, hence why I stopped tracking it. And the ES options is not something most of you can actually trade. So I don't really spend that much time on it on these videos. This is a position for next week expirations. Again, no real reason to be in this. You might as well then push forward and look at the following week, which is something I've already done before I even hopped on and started recording this video. I've already positioned some of my new portfolio here for a couple weeks out. And I think that covers just about all of it. Oh no, we didn't cover the iron butterflies. So this is our iron butterfly here and the account builder iron butterfly, and we can see how that's doing also. So going with that 11 DTE, sort of a sweet spot here with these butterflies, even though we structured it to be a broken wing on this side, so there was less risk to the upside. You guys can see it's all about keeping a relatively flat T+0 line, and as long as the markets is hovering around a certain area, you can make profit even though the implied volatility has increased from since this was open. That is not a good thing on a position like this since it is short Vega, but the position is still managing the volatile waters pretty nicely. And our other one, this is one that I recommend outside of gamma exposure. I just suggested or just commentated on the idea of you can run these pretty frequently, maybe 2-3 times a week. You kind of put them in rotation, you stick around 15 DTE, but it is an edge if you can open them around strikes that have a lot of decent gamma exposure. And this one is also, it's doing moderately okay. Would have been out of this smart time by Wednesday anyway. But yeah, this is continuation to this series, guys. I'm enjoying doing these as best as I can, and the goal is to keep them going as much as I can throughout the whole year. And when things get too chaotic in my personal life, or if I'm on set filmmaking and I really just can't upkeep, I will let you guys know in advance. But for the most part, you guys can subscribe. If you have not, leave a comment down below. The comments obviously are helping to encourage me to keep them going because I know you guys are following along with this series. But most importantly, I hope you are learning. And if I had started out with spreads this way and there was someone showcasing to me beforehand, during, and after, and actually providing all of this information, it would have eased so much of the anxiety in which I had, especially when I first started trading iron condors. If I structured my iron condor, I used to make them way too narrow, and then I started making them way too wide, and then the moment it broke past a certain level, I would freak out. This was before gamma exposure at this edge, but I would freak out and close it prematurely. Or if I went too wide, I was collecting too little credit, and then every little move would have me panicking, and then I would close it, and I was just eating a bunch of losses, and I had no real conviction. I didn't have a clear strategy, and hopefully you guys walk away with a week like this in which I'm showing you this was our main range expected from the gamma exposure analysis that I provided on Monday. And even though the market went all the way down here with a simple $42 hedge or $100 in protection, you're still able to be okay, you know. And if you're in one of those iron condors, you just scale up or scale down depending on how much size you're in will tell you how much you need to essentially hedge. So if you had, you know, 2K or so in an iron condor like this, you want to protect maybe $1,000 worth of that. That's what would tell you how much of this you need. So in that case, you might have need 4 of these, you know, which is a $200 protection here. And we're just using hypotheticals in this case here. So 5 of these will protect 4 of these iron condors. And there you go. You're essentially just taking a look and seeing what the market's going to do without being stressed. And I really wish this was exposed to me earlier on. Hey guys, very quickly, I popped back online. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time here. So same Friday. And look at where the market is. You know, that's not surprising. I figured it'd be neat. Let me just refresh this page just so you guys can see. This is the end result. So the only trade that essentially loses in the end was the hedge at this point if you're holding until Friday. Just a quick update. I won't be here again during power hour, but I thought it was neat. I just ran back to my office. I thought it was neat to be able to see this. Remember, this was our zone. Our wide iron condor, but now the one that was the riskiest iron condor is obviously going to yield the biggest return. We're right in the zone here. This was the riskiest iron condor in terms of the range, but it was also the most bullish one. And that's one of the reasons why I like even asymmetrical iron condors, is because you're limiting your risk to a particular direction. In this case here, it's to the upside, but you still stand to gain a major win if price is within your primary range. Pretty neat. Let me know if you guys like this or if you caught this. And the hedges, of course, again, not doing too well, but this is what we said on Monday. If the market really went nowhere for the week, you're not going to lose that much on a hedge. That's why I like these hedges. And in this case here, this was the hedge that I really like. And on a week like this, because we went the following week out, this trade, even though the market has not made a major move from a net change perspective, meaning it opened here and now it's Friday and it's right back here, it's pretty much gone almost nowhere for the week, you win on your trade. And in this case, you win on the hedge. That is over a $700-800 return between these two, in terms of even if you're in just one lot. This is $500, we'll say, and this is $700 from just averaging 2 of them. We're talking 13, pretty much less than $1,500, and the returns for the week, even if you held it for the full week. That is amazing to me. If it's not awesome to you, then I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment down below if you learned something. Like the video and subscribe if you're new here. Catch you on the next one.